It's a beautiful day, and it's been maybe a week since I've done my last video, so let's take a look at the garden here. Some of the echinacea are starting to fade, others are not. These white gladiolas that my brother gave me that were mystery flowers when he was like, you don't even know what these are, do you really want that many? Yeah. One of them finished blooming, and now that I know that they're hardy glads, it's not going to be able to stay in that pot above the ground because it will freeze the root. They do end up needing staked pretty good, because they are, as you can tell from this one, they are extremely top heavy. But some of them, yeah, some of them have pink throats, which is really cool. To gently set that down so it doesn't crack the stem, and then I've got them on these tied, and that one's completely done blooming. But there's several that have just started, like this one. This one just started today, look at that. And there's one in the back that's Akashisa is going to start to go to seed. That's basically a red Japanese basil-like. And it was given to me by a friend years ago. Like 2 decades ago. And it just self-reseeds every year. I've thought I've gotten rid of all of it a couple times. You know, not that I'm happy about that, but also it can totally take over. And it just, you know, it just keeps coming back. Which is cool, because I like it. But I don't eat much of it, because it's a weird taste. It's significantly muskier than basil. If you're into musky, you'd like it. Look at the little bee. Whoosh, whoosh. They love them. It's really cute. They love these glads. There's a bee bum. So the sky is lovely. I mean, you're not going to get a much nicer day than this. My strawberries that were supposed to be ever-bearing are not doing much else this year, so I don't know if that's just because they're young. They're also really bland. I don't know what's up with that. Then, this whole row is also strawberries. They're June bearing, and I got a few of them. They're very delicious. Not very prolific since I started having so much slug trouble. A lot of this is also glads. Same. And the blades sticking up out of this. These I've decided to go ahead and see if I can fully positively identify nightshade, the blackberry kind. The rhubarb's doing quite well in various places. I got almost all of the sticks out of here, which is awesome. These leaves in here, these are Monarda, which are minty and delicious. The cherry, the native cherry, is coming up just fine. I just noticed I've got a tree growing here that I don't want. Let's see. That it's been a heck of a year for black walnuts popping up out of nowhere. I'm gonna have to get the digging fork to get that one out of there. Apple and pear still haven't done anything, and they're not gonna, because they practically, well, whoops, stepping on things, practically well failed to bloom entirely. I got 4 blooms on this one, but they didn't pollinate, I don't think. So I do want to trim back some of the shrubby growth again, because these are supposed to be very strictly trained, and I definitely don't want them to be growing only in one direction, which is what they're doing due to the shade of the hedge getting so tall. It's nice having the privacy of the hedge, but the trees were supposed to do that. So down here, cherries and 2 Saskatoons. These are the parsnips going to seed. This is a grass going to seed. That's no good. We have, these are getting a little bit bigger. Hardy kiwi. Hardy kiwi do not get fuzzy. Oops, what's happening here? Oh, point blank range is not working out too well. I keep hoping they'll get soft. That was a little bit soft. So we might be getting close here. I might actually finally get to taste a hardy kiwi if I time myself well enough. Over here I finally got some taste of chard. I planted that in the spring and it just was really slow to grow. I'm training the heck out of my plum, having witnessed what a crowded plum does. I've decided to make sure mine doesn't do what a crowded plum does, and so a lot of these branches are tied off to other sticks and such. I did unfortunately pull a little too hard at one point, so I had to bandage the center. Yeah, I'm sure it'll retake. I mean, look how green it is, and that was a week ago, but I'm just basically stabilizing that Y joint so that it doesn't get worse. I'm gonna have hollyhocks like crazy because I haven't done as well at eating the flower pods this year, so they're going to seed a lot more. The cherry tree is doing the exact same thing as it did last year at this point. It's just later in the year. And it wasn't just half the tree, it's the whole tree just dropping. And I've given it plenty of nitrogen, and I don't know what the heck is going on here. Kind of looks like bugs this time. Possibly. I don't know. It's just going dormant in the summer instead of waiting till fall. Oh, Joe Pye. Joe Pye's finishing. I mean, you can see that they're still getting pollinators. Over here, I forgot, we walked right past my red currant, which also needs a nitrogen dose. Alright, so back in here, I would say that the black currant is totally done for the year. I do want to get a proper Jostaberry and dig that out because it's just taken over. Taken over. Here's the compost trash bins. Made some really nice mulch type of compost out of weeds. Because of the black lids on them, they do get pretty hot. And it ages it pretty nicely, even with the seeds in it. And of course, this is the asparagus up the middle. I finally trimmed the sides because you couldn't really get through. This is lovage. For some reason, the ants really like the seeds. Not that they take the seeds off, but they just keep munching on them. More rhubarb. I don't know, with the lighting, can you tell? Because the sun's really intense. There we go. That's a decent angle. There are 4 different rhubarb, but these 2 happened to end up really close to each other. There had been 6, maybe 7 in this row, but not all of the bubbies made it. Then there's this rhubarb, which is just a pain in my neck. Because I never get food off of it. It's a really old type. And while it comes up super early, it goes green real fast. And it doesn't seem edible after that. The sage has been going to seed pretty readily recently. I'm trying to pull that out. Where did it go? Here we go. This is another weed. Take that to the compost soon too. Onions have been doing well. I'm trying to decide how I'm going to handle the front lawn here. Because I don't know if I'm ready for the maintenance needed once I uncover all of it. But it would be nice to have the space back. Because you need to get plants established and in there pretty quickly once you're pulling things up. And I'm not sure if I'm ready to do all that maintenance right now. Also, considering only half heighting instead of fully removing that black walnut, if I could keep it at a good height. I have like a microscopic intern on my arm and it tickles. Get off me. Alright, you can see that the hops is just now starting to set flower. Can you see? That's so blurry. There we go. And that the hops going up through the elderberry, which has given me more fruit than most years. I thought it wasn't going to. And I need to come out here and get some again. I need to come out here and harvest again. I've gotten several cups of elderberry fruit off of this stand this year, which is an unusually high amount. So that is a black walnut, an American black walnut. And if I cut it at about half height, it might do fine with the elderberry if I could keep it short. I don't know if it'll actually produce any fruit if I try to keep it short, though. And at that point, like, why? Why am I bothering, kind of thing? Because I can't have a 60-foot tree 10 foot from my house. Maybe 15 foot from my house. I can't have that. That is not okay. But because the elderberry is like the perfect height. The American elderberry only gets this tall. I see another branch of it over here. And also, American elderberries are pretty strange in that there's like, see how that's bare ground? There's no greenery down there. Very interesting. I'm not sure if it's already sending out a sideways branch like that, because that's the same black walnut. Fascinating. Yeah, so that's definitely a native who has invited a native that most plants don't want to deal with to live with it. And that's how the view looks today. Not sure what I'm going to do with all this mess. Because it's probably ready to pull up. It's most likely ready to pull up, but am I ready to do all the work? There's a difference there between those two things. Very much so. The nursery's doing really well. These are pyrethrin daisies, and there's a few in pots sunk in the ground here. And those I want to set in the area around the fire pit, because this is where I had so many tick problems, and I still haven't resolved that or this. So we'll see how that goes. Yep. The hill's getting more overgrown again. That's going to require some attention. I'd like to wait for it to cool down a bit before I'm down over the hill again like that, though. And oh, the amaranth is doing really well. The flower head has fully bloomed, I think. I haven't seen much pollinators on it, so I'm not sure how it'll do. the leaves are really yummy. The leaves are really yummy. And then there's these bright orange aphids that keep eating on the milkweed that I did, and this is a tall phlox native variety. And I had to actually, because this is the only seed that took, I ended up wanting to spray for those. I have an organic spray. Look at how this, I guess those are spider mites? And those might be a big part of my problem around here. Those are spider mites, I believe, and they are devouring a mullein. So that's interesting. Yeah, so that's everything going on out here. I had a lunch of a few leaves of borage, which is that cloud of light bluish, purplish there, and a few leaves of chard and a few leaves of the amaranth over there. One leaf of hollyhock, because for the most part they're all getting eaten up pretty bad and not very edible on the leaves. And a bunch of rhubarb and an onion. That was with egg. That was my lunch. Got a lot of dill seed in here. And the tomatoes are tumbling all over the place. It might be about time. Ooh, look. Where'd it go? There it is. Look. It's getting towards time for tomatoes, and it might be a good idea for me to get some tomato cages in here so my walkway, which is here, could be accessible again. Oh, I see a couple of grass in there. I have been seeing monarchs around, so that's nice. Bunch of butterflies, a lot of swallowtails. The mourning doves that were in the basket grew up. They're adults now, which is good because that bird kept scaring the crap out of me. I never cleaned up what I trimmed off of the asparagus on this side. I should do that. And the calendula is starting to go to seed, so it's not quite as bright orange through here. It's mostly just seed. So yeah, that's the garden, and it's very late summer. It is August 12th of 2018, and hopefully you're having a good summer. Okay, bye.